Hello and happy Tuesday. Guess what? The sun isn't really shining into my office for once, which makes a nice change to every other Tuesday night when I can never see properly. So I hope you're having a good week. I hope the week started off well for you. I'm actually going to just put my phone on to see that I'm live, and then if anyone decides to watch tonight whilst I'm live, then I'll be able to see your name, because that's the biggest annoyance about StreamYard is you have to press a button to say allow me to see who comments, basically. So tonight I want to talk about creating a vision. It's something that I'm talking a lot about at the moment because I found that with various different clients that I've been chatting to, they don't have a clear vision. And when you're just like almost working blindsided, it's really hard because you don't really have that direction and that clarity. So you might be doing things and just doing it for the sake of doing it, thinking this is the right thing. But if you're not actually thinking about how it feeds into the bigger picture, what that actually looks like, then you could struggle, because say you're creating content or you're talking about something and actually that has got nothing to do with what your end goal is for maybe a year down the line, 3 to 5 years down the line, it might be the wrong thing. So if you actually start to, and I feel like I constantly talk about mind mapping, but when you mind map, it's really a useful exercise into figuring things out. So if you don't have a vision and you don't know what you're working towards and you don't know what that end goal looks like, it's really tricky. So I have created, and I don't really know how visible it will be to see it on here, but just something to try and give you an idea, a starting point of what to consider. So I would begin by saying, like, putting you in the middle, and then I've almost gone off into 3 different categories. So I've gone with business, financials, and personally. So on to business. Stuff to consider. So I know in this group there are product and service-based businesses, there's B2B, business to business, and there's B2C, business to consumer. This would work for any type of business, and you can add and remove stuff or go with whatever works for you. But the idea is just to give you that grounding, that basis of where to start. So if we focus on business first of all, it could be that, so this is just an example, but say thinking about 3 to 5 years, be thinking about, do you want to have a membership? Do you want to have won awards? Are you going to enter awards? Do you have a team? Do you want to grow a team? Do you, if you're a small to medium-sized business, are you looking to expand? Are you thinking about different programs you can offer, different services, different products? Are those products going to be digital? Are they going to be physical products? Your services, who's your audience? Is it B2B? Is it B2C? And then what opportunities are there? For example, work with teams, ad hoc, ongoing. It depends on what your business is. Then looking at personally, think about your friends, yourself, holidays, family, home, interests. Like, what is it that you get really excited about? What is it that's motivating you to kind of drive you forward? Because my perspective, if you are someone that just works for yourself, you're a business owner, if you think about what's important to you, and say in 3 years time, maybe you want to buy a house, maybe you want to buy a second house, maybe you want that as passive income because you want to rent it out, maybe you want to grow a portfolio of properties, perhaps you want to create passive income, perhaps you want to work less hours because you want that time for you for no other reason, you just want to work less hours, but actually you want to have a team that's going to build that forward for you. Write all this down. Think about what it is, because whilst it's in your head, it's less likely to happen. When you start to write it down and you actually think about how you can make this happen, that's going to have the biggest benefit for you. So, so you have all that, and then on financials, thinking about monthly, annually, thinking about your profit, thinking about passive income. So it kind of looks like that. And I'll try and take a photo and I'll stick it in the comments. But honestly, it's so important to think about this, because I can't stress that enough. It's almost like planning this journey and you don't really know where you're going. So you're going to wing it and you're just going to be like spontaneous, and that's great. But are you going to achieve your goals? Probably, possibly, maybe not, who knows? But when you actually know what you want to achieve and you know what that vision looks like, it starts to give you that clarity and that direction. And don't be thinking that because you've got this vision, it's got to be really rigid. It doesn't. It can evolve, because who could have predicted COVID? Nobody. And the amount of businesses that had to pivot as a result of that, either in a good way or a bad way, but whatever the reason, they had to pivot. And or maybe they stayed the same. It depends on what that business is, and it depends on what that business model looks like. But have a vague idea of what your vision is going to be. Write it down, put it on your wall, in your office, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, places you're going to see it. And then when you know what your vision is, then you can start working backwards. So I know, for example, what I want to be achieving next year. I know what's on my plan for next year. I still need to map it out, because I'm kind of in this weird space at the moment as to exactly what I want things to look like. This year was just about a massive part of this year has been about brand building for me again. It was a massive success for me when I originally launched my business, and here we are 5 years later. My business has evolved a lot. The direction I want to go in has changed, and so that's why it's important to revisit it and to constantly rethink about it. I've talked about it before. I've ran challenges on it before. I like to review my plans like every 3 to 6 months, about what's working, what's not. That's something that I'll be doing again very soon, because I'm thinking ahead to the summer holidays. I'm thinking about the juggling the balance, what my plan is going to be come September. So I'd love to know, if you watch this back on replay, what your thoughts on this are, what direction you're looking to go in, what you're hoping to achieve. And then when you have that and you know what the end point is, work backwards. It's a common project management format, I believe. I can't think of the actual name, but I know from working within project management teams and PMO teams that, working backwards and working in like marketing teams and stuff like that, when you work backwards and you're planning a launch for a new product, a new service, that's the best way. It's always to think about where you're going, where you're headed, and then think about, okay, what are the stopping points along that way? Hope that helps. These videos, lives, are supposed to be short, sharp snippets. I hope you find them useful. If there's anything you'd like me to cover in the future, then do let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening.